we really have such a good relationship, a fun, goofy, loving relationship. And unfortunately, none of that obviously was, or at least not most of it was displayed during the show.
Well, thank you, you two, for joining me today on this call. So excited to talk to you about season 2 of The Ultimatum and about life at home afterwards. So thank you.
Of course. Thank you for having us.
Now,
Thank
first, I
you.
know everyone's got a million baby questions. Tell me a little bit about life at home after welcoming baby Mason.
Yeah, sure. Well, life has been amazing, actually. Lisa and I have been really just focusing on developing him and making sure that he receives all the love and care that he needs, and he's growing super fast. And we're just really excited to be parents.
Yeah. How old is he now?
Almost four
4 months.
months.
Yeah,
Oh my
pretty much 4 months
gosh.
now.
Time
Yeah.
flies. That's crazy. Lisa, I've got to know, what's it been like watching Brian become a dad? And Brian, I'm going to ask you the same question in a second. So,
All right,
Oh
cool.
my God. It's crazy because I mean, I already knew he was going to be a great dad because of how he already was with my daughter. Like
mm,
he just helps her with the homework, taking her to
mm,
school, being super involved in her life. So I already knew he was going to be a great dad, but seeing
mm,
him with like a child, with us has been amazing. Like he's like super protective over him and he's like so hands-on and like, seeing him doing little dances with him around the
mm.
house or, singing to him. It's just so cute because he goes into like a kind of a big kid mode, but
Yeah.
he's like such a great dad. I mean, he changes, he does the poopy diapers, he does the rocking to sleep, the spit up on the shirt. Like he gets to experience all of that. It's not just a mom job, it's
Yeah.
like a dad job too. So
Yeah.
it's been so good. Like it's been amazing. But I already knew he would be an amazing dad. So it was no surprise.
Yeah. And Brian, what's it been like to watch Lisa go through this newborn phase and, become a mom again?
Yeah, honestly, it's been a great experience. She's first of all been an amazing mom prior to Mason.
Mhm.
So just being able to see her like again from the start, for the first time has been amazing and great. Like we went through so much throughout the pregnancy in terms of like, just I wouldn't say health complications, but more so just pregnancy things that you go through in general, right? And seeing her be like strong through that and being able to assist her through that has been amazing. And now having him here, just like she says me, like she's always like smiling, always laughing with him and really just like grooming him and giving him so much love. And I think that's like what is needed from a mom is just that, that nurturing and that care and, being able to have a stable home with both mom and dad. So like, honestly, like I couldn't see, myself or anyone else of that matter being Mason's mom.
Oh, I love it. And I'm curious where you two are in your relationship. Obviously, you sound like you're wonderful. And I know that you've been going to therapy and addressing a lot of things, but I'm curious how it's been going.
Yeah, sure. Like things have been going great. I
Mhm,
think obviously like it's been some time, a year plus since
mhm,
we actually, filmed the show. So we've had so much time to kind of just reflect and really just spend time with each other and learning each other even more than we had already known. And that's really helped us now at this stage, especially with bringing Mason in. We wanted to make sure that we had a really solid foundation, and that we would make like set the best example for him. So now I feel like we're at this phase where we're just, things have kind of came fast with the release of the show. So like we're really
mhm.
just trying to have fun with it, and we're really just trying to experience life together, and with him as well, and our other girl. So
Yeah. What's it been like? I mean, the show was filmed like a year ago, and now you're in this totally different place and you have a child together. What is it like having it come out and have everyone have something to say about what happened in the past?
It was at first, especially the first week that everything came out, it was a lot. It was a lot, especially, when that you've grown so much from that point that people are just now viewing. So to them, every new, so in their mind that they feel like, of course, that is how you guys are. That's how your relationship is. So when it first comes out, it's like, man, like it's like a reflection of where you were during that time. But I can say it's, especially with us having each other's back and being each other's support system. I mean, I'm glad that it's him I get to go through this journey with. Because those moments where, you were already hard on yourself back then, and now you have like tons of people like coming at you, whether it's good or bad, it's kind of an overload, especially still being like postpartum for me. It was an overload at first, but he, was like, look, that's not where we are anymore. That doesn't matter what people have to say, whether good or bad. It doesn't matter. Like what matters is what we have going on, how far we've come as a family. And that's what we need to continue focusing on. And I can say like for the past like week or two, like we've kind of pushed that stuff out of our mind and like really have focused on our family and still like building our family, nurturing our family, nurturing our business, still getting into our hustle. Like that's really what's been our focus since that has come to pass.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I know in the reunion you talked about, possibly putting a ring on that finger down the line. Do we have an updated timeline post reunion?
Yeah, like I don't have a timeline in the sense of like a date that I would disclose, right?
Yeah, not that you're telling us. Yeah.
Yeah, but that still stands though. I mean, I've seen the growth within us, like individually and together. And I know, even like I knew at that time that there's no one in this world that I'd rather be with. And that still hasn't changed. So, we are still on that journey and that path. And, as we continue to grow, like this is not a thing that ever stops, it's ever changing. I know that time will come, soon. So
yeah.
Oh, okay.
I was about to say, Lisa, how do you feel about that answer? Yeah.
I've always said that, like sooner than later.
The emphasis on soon. The emphasis on soon got me.
Well, when I say soon, I mean sooner than later, right? Like, we've had discussions and
we're putting a date down on the calendar. We're defining it right now.
Right. I'm like, y'all are trying to get a date out on me. And I'm like, that'll defeat the whole purpose, wouldn't it?
Look, I haven't asked anymore, Anna. We haven't talked about no wedding or marriage or ring. That's not something that I'm like, so when is it? When is it? Like, it's been just focused on our family. And I'm like, when that time comes, it'll come.
Yeah. I mean, it's not to say that you're not super busy. I mean, you've got plenty of stuff to focus on.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
Yeah. Well, no, obviously your experience on the ultimatum wasn't what you expected it to be. But I am curious if you have any like highlights or moments from it where you really think that it benefited your relationship other than obviously, becoming pregnant with your son. Is there anything for you, Lisa, that really was like a light bulb moment for you or something that you look back on as a good thing?
Yeah, for me, I'm not going to lie. Like, all of us, obviously, one or the other brought their person on there for the ultimatum, for the ring. And I appreciated the process because unlike the other contestants, like it was like for me, I realized just early on in the process, okay, the ring is not the goal. Like the goal is to figure out if this is my person, like if this is truly my person. And so for me, I appreciated the experience for that because of those heightened questions and emotions during that time, unfortunately, things did fall out how they did with us and we had to leave early. But even through that process, I got my answer, like, this is my person. Like, he is forever my person. And for me, I think for me, that was the deeper question, is this the person that I'm supposed to spend the rest of my life with? I'm not even putting emphasis on getting married right now, but is he truly for me? And I got my answer.
Yeah, you just expedited the process.
Exactly.
And what about you, Brian? Was there anything that you were like, this was a really positive takeaway?
Yeah, for sure. I think definitely in line with what she said, right? Like knowing that she is my person as well. And then that's mutual, but also too, just the opportunity to be vulnerable and open and real with each other. I think the biggest thing for us going in was we're, always focused on each other, and, what seems right, but being able to actually like speak out openly about how we feel, I think it really allowed myself and I'm assuming, not assuming, but I know her as well. It really helped us kind of like know what we wanted to personally, right? And I think that's really important in relationships is to like always know that you know what you want, right, out of something, and it's not just about the other person. So yeah, I think for me that was a great takeaway from it also. And I think it kind of just brought us together, right? Like it made us kind of take a leap of faith and really like focus on I want to say necessarily fixing things, but really just like reconciling on some past issues that we had, or like past topics that we kind of been trying to get over. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, and then last question before I let you go on. I know you're both really busy, but I am curious if there are any misconceptions you feel like viewers have about you or your relationship or anything that went down, anything that you'd like to clear up for people.
I know for sure, like for me, I know for both of us, but in regards to our relationship, especially like the smushing in the face incident, like, a lot of people felt like there were comments of like, oh, domestic violence and things like that. And that's just not the case at all. Like, never put my hands on him behind closed doors or in public ever before, and never again afterwards. And neither has he. Like that's not a common thing. And one thing is like the misconception, that whole scenario, like we really have such a good relationship, a fun, goofy, loving relationship. And unfortunately, none of that obviously was, or at least not most of it was displayed during the show. But it was more so, it's like we really do have the utmost respect for each other, even though that wasn't showcased. And the whole insecure thing of like me being insecure of another woman, because that is like completely not in my demeanor. Girl, I'm very secure. But it was just like, that was just not displayed, obviously. And I wish, that was in regards to our relationship, I wish that was displayed more, like the love, the fun that we actually have in our relationship every day. Like, we feel like we live with our best friend because of how we interact with each other on a daily basis. But that's the biggest misconception I wish could be cleared up. But, it happened, and we grow from it and learn from it, for me.
Yeah. And Brian, do you have anything to add on to that, or?
Yeah, no, I think she touched on it completely. Like, there's so much that I wish that people could have seen, and which, if they follow our lives past the show, like post the show, they'll see that, right? Is that, like she mentioned, like we are so loving to each other, to our family, to our friends. We love to give back, right? Like, the dynamic that they saw, unfortunately, because of such a heightened situation, it became the vocal point of the show. But I think for us, we want people moving forward to know that, like, yeah, there's no domestic violence going on, and we really love each other, right? And that's what we're going to continue to display, is this love, no matter what anybody says. We're going to continue to display that.
Well, I'm glad to hear that you're both in a wonderful place and that your family is doing well. And I appreciate you taking the time to talk with me about it today.